Good morning. Got a project today that I've been thinking about for some time, and that's how I manage my air in this shop here. And recently, a couple of events kind of forced my hand a little bit, and that event was my regulator kind of shit the bed on me, started leaking. So that wasn't good. So I did buy a new regulator that has a dryer and some filters in it, and the regulator's on this side. My initial thought was, I'm just going to go ahead and replace that regulator with this one and move on. But then I got to thinking that for some time, I've had the idea that I need to get my air a little closer to where my work is. And work is usually over there on that end of the shop. So what I do is I grab my hose, drag it across the shop, and use whatever air for nail guns or blow guns or whatever I need. That's not ideal. So what I'm going to do is I am going to plumb air up here. I'm going to take this down, take all this out, and move it. And we're going to go up the wall, over, and down, reinstall this, and then also plumb an air outlet over by the bench. So let me kind of show you what's going on here. So this is my air compressor down in this cabinet here, and it's vented with that screen, so it gets plenty of air down in there. And every now and then I check it out and check the oil in it and what have you. And so it's going to stay right there, and that's a good spot for it because it's right by the electrical panel, and it's a 30-gallon tank, so it gives me enough air. It's not going to drive any major air impact stuff or whatnot, but it's fine for what I use. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up and over there, over these garage doors, and we're going to come down right in here, down in that bay there, and that's where we're going to install the air regulator and filters and whatnot, as well as the hose reel. Then we're also going to bring a line up and go back clear over here, come around over the top of that window and down right here. And I'm going to put an air connection right there. So I'll have it right near the bench. That's kind of the plan. And I was going to do all this with copper, and I thought, man, that's going to be expensive because copper tubing, half-inch copper tubing is now about 15, 16 bucks for a 10-foot section. At least it was at Lowe's. So I'm going to use CPVC. And I've seen some folks use this for airlines, and they say it works fine. So we're going to give this a whirl. I've got 100 feet here, probably more than I need, and a whole bucket full of fittings in there that'll at least get me started. So the first order of business is to remove all this stuff. So I'm going to get that out of there and start right here, start running my connections up, and then start fitting the other connections and locating the regulator and hooking everything up. Well, our project is about 95+% complete. I didn't show every little thing that was done as I was putting all this together. And that's probably a good thing for you viewers out there because a lot of things changed as I went along. I initially had an idea in my head up here that I thought was going to work, and as I started going through things, I changed this, changed that, reinstalled that, decided to make a change here, a change there, etc. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to show you kind of a tour through how it all wound up. And the stage that we're in right now, I've got everything plumbed up, it's pressurized, and now I'm just, I don't hear any leaks, but I've got the air pressurized, and I'm just going to see if it bleeds off at all and starts the compressor such that I'll know I've got a little bit of a leak somewhere. And depending on how quick the compressor comes on, whether or not dictates whether or not I'll actually troubleshoot it. But it's been on, it's been on probably half hour or so, I guess, and nothing yet, so we're still holding pressure, so I think we're probably pretty good. Anyway, let me show you, I'll give you a quick tour of all the connections and kind of where things wound up. Okay, if you remember right here, I had my air hose reel hanging there along with the regulator and kind of a filter of some sort. It wasn't a very good one. Anyway, so all that's gone, and what I've done here is we've come up through with copper up from the air compressor, and I put a valve here to be able to lock off the entire plumbed system. So I can shut the air off right here and separate the compressor from the rest of the system. And right now I have this off to see if there's any bleed off on the gauge, the pressure gauge. And then I also have a valve here, and all these vertical legs, I put a drop leg in here with a valve so that if any water condenses or gets in there and falls down, I can blow that out. And actually this one I can still use. I put a fitting on the end there that I can put a hose there if I want to. So what I haven't done yet is I haven't secured all these pieces down yet. I wanted to make sure I'm good with the leaks. And as you can see, this is all the CPVC pipe that I mentioned, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, you know, CPVC isn't rated for air. Yeah, I get it, but when you go look at the price of copper and whatnot, this is a pretty good alternative. And I'm running at 125 pounds pressure here in the garage, and this stuff's rated for 200, so I think I'm going to be all right. What I've done is I've gone up over the top there, right along that electrical conduit. In fact, I actually just use the cable ties to get that tied right up to that electrical conduit. So it goes over this door and over that door. And now this is where I rehung my hose reel. Now what happens here is the feed from the compressor comes down this wall. It's right in there. You can see it come down. And it enters the filter right here and the moisture separator and then the pressure gauge. And I've currently got it set at 90 pounds. And it's holding there right at 90 pounds. And then it goes back up to the reel and then continues on over. And I've also got a drop leg in here down right below this. So this leg here also has a valve on it. And if I want to put a fitting here to put an air hose, I can do that. Again, I don't have all the fasteners to hold it steady there, but that's how that's going to work. Now, so this filtered air and pressurized air goes up that side to hit and it's connected to the hose. There's a T-up in there. And then it goes on over up here across this door and then up and over that window right there. And it comes down over here. And I've got a leg right here by my bench. And so now I have an outlet here. And again, with this long vertical leg here, I've got a valve at the bottom that I can blow any moisture out of it to the extent it gets in here. So that's kind of the setup. I think it's going to work out all right. We'll check for leaks. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up by putting the fasteners on so that it's nice and steady and should be good to go. This was all my plumbing work here that I was doing and all the various parts. As I shifted gears, I think I made goodness knows how many trips to Lowe's and Home Depot to get various parts and sundry, and I've got a whole bag of stuff here to return because I've got extra this and extra that and extra of everything just in case I ran out. And so what I used is this this is a cleaner, it's a solvent to clean up each of the joints, both the pipe and the fitting. And then I used this medium orange CPVC cement, both on the pipe and in the fitting. And this cutter here works pretty good for this stuff. So this thing will cut it nice and square, and you can get a nice square cut. So I think this tool is only about 10 bucks, and I've used it a lot, very handy. Anyway, so I've got a whole bunch of fittings here, various and sundry close nipples, bushings and what have you, more than I needed, and some extra valves. So needless to say, there's going to be a big return back to Lowe's with all the stuff I didn't use. Right now, this regulator is just suspended here from the pipes. I'm going to put a piece of probably make a little bracket or something to come along here so I can bolt it to it and secure it to the jambs on these garage doors. So that's something I'll have to do. We're still holding at 90 pounds, so that's good. Got my keepers on there, little straps to secure everything. Okay, we're going to call this a wrap. I've got all my straps around every place I needed to have them, so that makes it good and sturdy. And we're still holding pressure at 90 pounds over on the regulator, so that's good. Anyway, I think this project turned out all right. For those of you, hopefully this has been helpful for some of you guys out there like me that are looking to get some air, make your air supply a little handier around the shop by your bench and whatnot. This is a pretty easy way to do it. Yeah, I know, not approved for air, got it. But I think it'll be okay for the home shop. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, comments, don't forget to hit that subscribe button there and send me your comments, and I'll respond to everyone I can. All right? Take care.